blue scenario. Oh my God, it's Landon!
I'm here. Hi, folks.
Landon, I'm leading the campaign. We'll do a GoFundMe if we have to. I know that we're not going to win a Super Bowl.
You're going to make him mad.
I'm trying to get Deion to Dallas.
You're going to make him mad.
Embrace we'll buy a giant circus tent. Like, I'm just here for the content now. Let's do it, baby.
Cirque du Soleil.
Let's go.
You're the little monkey on the end of the string next to the guy grinding the organ, right? Like you're dancing trying to make sure the circus is happening. Yeah.
I'm the guy strapping on a helmet and climbing into the cannon. Go ahead, fire me into the net. Let's get it, baby.
That's right. You're ready for the circus. You're a veteran of it at this point.
Yeah, I love it. You assume no chance at Deion, and you have no interest in Deion, or do you think it would be fun? He might be able to be good at it. I don't know. Maybe.
I don't think that Deion's a real chance, mostly because of the $8 million that I'm sure that you guys have brought up in the buyout. That's really the true road barrier there. I also think just on a practical level, what makes Deion a good college coach now is not really translatable to the NFL, right? Like, I think he is a good leader of young men. I think also that's also what he's interested in doing is shaping, college age kids, kids coming out of high school. I don't know that he has interest in coaching, grown men. And like I said, on top of that, I think what makes him special and what's made him work at Jackson State, what's made him work at Colorado is he's a draw. He brings kids to the program that wouldn't normally go to that program. And that's not necessarily a superpower that's translatable to the NFL, I don't think, unless he's bringing some kind of superstar offensive and defensive coordinator. And then maybe, you can kind of talk me into it. But again, that $8 million roadblock is pretty serious.
He put out a generic statement that didn't say anything yes or no, because like in the chat, people are like, he already said no. No, he didn't.
No.
He intentionally didn't say no or yes, and he's going to get a raise out of this. But do you just tell me if this changes your mind? Because Coach Prime tweeted an hour ago. We all have mountains we must climb and trials that we face. You ain't no different than anyone else that God has created.
Amen.
We all share mess that causes us stress.
Come on, Lord.
If we don't exercise our faith and trust God,
yes.
Climb and handle it daily, baby. Go and don't stop. You got this. # Coach Prime. Sounds like he's coming to Dallas. Let's go!
That sounds like an answer to literally any question you can ask him. You can ask him any question and he can answer with that series of gobbledygook, and it probably would sound epic. But yeah, I don't think he's coming down.
Okay, all right.
Landon, of course, the Deion's gonna be topic of discussion, but what direction do the Cowboys go in? Like, the clock is ticking. You got to find a head coach while other teams are looking for a head coach as well. What direction should the Cowboys go into and hit the gas full steam ahead and try to go get their football coach?
What should they head? What direction should they head in, or what direction will they head in? I think are maybe two different things. I think you're completely right. I think they need to get on this quickly. They need to start interviewing folks. The Senior Bowl's coming up. The Shrine Bowl's coming up. You want to have a head coach in place. You want to have some direction for your scouting staff, just to kind of have an idea of the template of the players that you want to work on. These are all things that are reasons why this probably should have been an accelerated process from where it is. But the unfortunate thing is that's probably not how Jerry's going to operate. Jerry is going to want to interview folks that he's familiar with, or folks that he knows have skins on the wall. So we're going to look at a bunch of retread head coaches. We'll probably get a couple of folks that Jerry is familiar with. I think, as far as the direction that we could possibly hope for is best case scenario that also falls under what the Joneses are likely to do. I don't love what Kellen Moore has done necessarily with Philadelphia. I know, Jesse, I know. But I, at the same time, like, we're talking about what's likely, what's reasonable. And if you're asking me to choose between taking a chance on Kellen Moore or Ron Rivera round 3, I don't know that that's much of a choice for me. I think I'll take the guy that at least has some unknown to the element of his coaching abilities.
Yeah, historically, every coach Jerry's hired is either been someone he's known, has a relationship with, or a former head coach. That's his stereotype.
A Super Bowl winner.
That's Super Bowl winner. Does anything excite you about this process that whatever they end up with is going to take them to the next level? Because that's the goal to me. It's who's going to get you to the Super Bowl. What excites you about this process, and who they can end up with that's going to get you to the next level?
Clarence, I think you brought up a really great point, and that's I think the people are going to lose track of the fact that the reason that you let go of a frankly pretty good coach who raised the floor on this team. I mean, look, he didn't get us where you wanted them to go, but the reason you let him go is because they hit a ceiling at the divisional round of the playoffs, right? So the answer to the question should be the next person that you hire should be that person to help you break through that ceiling. I mean, I don't see anyone that, that's in this coaching landscape that necessarily screams that, I think that there's certainly some guys that you could take some lateral moves with, some of the retread head coaches that we mentioned. I think if Jerry is willing to try something new, I think you can make an argument that if you give someone like, I don't know, Joe Brady a shot to be a head coach for the first time, or maybe you just do something a little bit less risky and you get a first-time head coach like Todd Monken, right? Who, he's never been a head coach, but he's been around the league and been around college. So he has some experience. So I think if you can choose someone like that who at least brings an element of unknown there, I think maybe you can convince yourself, hey, there's some talent on this team that maybe the formula just kind of all works out and they catch lightning in a bottle and suddenly they catch fire. But it's hard to make that same argument when you're talking about rehiring, someone else's rewarmed head coach, and it feels like you may be just playing out the same sort of story that you played out with Mike McCarthy when you hired him.
Landon, we're just over the 24-hour mark of the head coaching search. We've already had a Deion, will he, won't he, maybe kind of saga last night and into today. I was told, buckle up, there's a lot of potential names out there. But I think one thing we kind of keep all thinking is it could eventually lead us back to Kellen Moore. I'm going to give you a tough task here. Give me your best argument.
Sell me, baby.
Sell me on Kellen Moore and what could give you some belief that he could take you to the next level.
All right. Well, the first thing I have to do is destroy all your hope. Because the first thing I have to do is tell you, let's be realistic about who the Joneses are going to hire. All right. And now that you've ingested that and you've knocked away all the Ben Johnsons and all of the candidates who we'd ultimately love to be our head coaches, but it's just not going to happen. And you look at the realistic, list of coaches that are still left that kind of fit the criteria that we know Jerry is going to follow when he's hiring these head coaches. I think to me, Kellen Moore is the guy in that list that at least provides some unknown, some excitement. I love the aspect. The thing I love about Kellen Moore is his willingness to kind of constantly try new things. If you remember when he was the offensive coordinator for the Cowboys, one of the things that they would do is they had a meeting where they would break down college and NFL tape and just look at trends and see what different play callers are doing all across the league and in college. And then they would try to incorporate some of that. It feels like the problem with the Cowboys offense is that it got stale under Mike McCarthy. I don't know that will necessarily be the issue with Kellen Moore. There'll be a whole other set of issues if Kellen Moore is your head coach, but I think at the very least, what you can hope for is that you're going to get a solid offense that is going to be in sync with each other. The last time this Cowboys offense really looked like a juggernaut, truly, not just, the numbers telling us that they're number one offense. The last time they truly looked like a juggernaut offense was when Dak was healthy and Kellen Moore was the offensive coordinator. So that's the best sell job I can hope. Maybe he brings in someone like Brandon Staley to come in to be your defensive coordinator. They have a relationship there. That's, I think, your best bet for a realistic shot at something slightly newer or slightly different than, the kind of same old retreads that we've been getting these last few times we've had a head coach.
It was a good sell.
Landon McCool from the Locked On Cowboys podcast. If the Cowboys use the 12th overall pick on Ashton Genty, will you be thrilled or furious that they picked a running back in the first round?
In between. I will be thrilled that the player is on our team. I'll be mad at the process.
Okay,
that's fair.
All right. Thanks, Landon. Have a great day. We appreciate you, brother.
See you soon.
I push back on